Hi there, my name's Adam Davidson, owner of Dental Digital. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 different ways in which you can get higher quality patient inquiries coming from your advertisements. So if you own a dentist right now and you're promoting services such as maybe Invisalign, implants, cosmetic dentistry, whatever it may be, if you're currently advertising on Facebook and Instagram and you're noticing that a lot of these people coming through are actually quite low quality, maybe they're not answering the phone, maybe they're just not turning up, maybe they don't even understand what they've done when it comes to the advertisement itself. Maybe they're complaining about the price. Whatever it may be, if you're just seeing people in general, they're not quality, they're not really in the market for it, and they're not booking in, then these 5 things should help your ads get in front of a higher quality person and therefore book you in more consultations and obviously more patients. So as you can see here in the background, the title of this slide is how to attract higher quality people from your dental adverts on social media, and that's what I'm going to dive into here. So I've listed out 5 different things that I have found over the years working with dentists have helped the overall quality when it comes to people coming through social media. See, the thing is with social media, when you run advertisements, you're reaching so many people. If you don't do these things correctly, oftentimes your ads can be shown in front of the most random people and people are really not in the market for it, and therefore you can get a bunch of time wasters. However, there are ways where you can sort of streamline that and make sure that you're getting in front of the best quality people that you can possibly do. There's 5 things that I have found. Number 1 is lookalike audiences. Number 2 is location targeting and ages. Number 3 is transparency. Number 4 is landing pages and type forms. And number 5 is feedback and adjustments. Now I'm going to go over each individual point separately in this slide or in this slideshow. So the first thing is lookalike audiences. So what is that? Now you can pause the video and read this here. This is a sort of a description of what a lookalike audience is. However, just to give you an overview in my own words of what a lookalike audience is, basically a lookalike audience is where Facebook and Instagram will take a list of patients, let's say, and they will create a new audience to target based off characteristics to that existing patient base. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you want to attract new Invisalign patients, okay, and you want to start promoting Invisalign on Facebook and Instagram. What you can actually do before you even started advertising is you could take your existing Invisalign or orthodontic patient base. Let's say you have a vast patient base, more than 1,000 people on a list. You can download that list, and then you can put that list of patient details that has already spent money with you, they're already Invisalign patients or orthodontic patients. You can put that list into your Facebook's ads manager. Facebook will analyze that list and analyze the people on the list, create a new audience for your adverts to target. So you're not retargeting these people. You're just creating a new set of people to target based off similar characteristics to your existing patient base. Now, basically what it means is you're targeting people who are like your patients who have already spent money with you. And it's called a lookalike audience. You can do this for any treatment, or in fact, let's say you don't have a lot of patients in one specific area, one specific treatment area. You can just take all your patient base, across all your treatments and create a lookalike audience off of that, because a lookalike audience, at the end of the day, if they've spent money with you, they're probably a higher quality person, and that's the kind of people you want to be getting in front of. So a lookalike audience is a really good way to set up your campaign for success before you've even run the ads. Okay, and it's something you can test. However, I'm not saying cold audience targeting doesn't work. What I mean by cold audience targeting is where you just target your area in general. That can also work, but this is just something to test. If you are seeing a low quality of person come through, it can help the quality. Now, the next thing is location targeting and ages. So it's a very simple part or a simple point this, but it needs to be done correctly. I see way too many dentists targeting too large of areas, vast areas around their practices. They're not really doing the age ranges correctly. And this is simple stuff, but it needs to be put in place. So just to go over a few points here, you want to make sure you're targeting people who live in your area, not recently in or live and recently in, which is different options you can choose. You want to make sure you're only targeting people who live in the area. This way, you're going to get in front of people who obviously live in the area. These are actual residents. Therefore, generally, there's more high quality. They actually live in the area. They definitely can visit the practice. They may even know who you are. As a whole, they're higher quality people rather than getting people coming from all over the place. Now, you also want to target people who you think are the right age range for the treatment you're promoting. So if you're promoting implants and you see that in your own personal experience, you've seen more, let's say 40-plus-year-olds come in, you want to target, that age range on social media. You want to make sure you're targeting the age range that you think is the most suitable for the treatment. You also want to target a local radius to start with, so it kind of ties into the first point. You want to target people who live in your area. However, you can actually you can decide how far you want to target around your practice. You want to make sure you're targeting a local radius to start with if you're seeing a low quality of person. Again, generally, if you're targeting a 2, 3, 4 mile radius around your practice, those people as a whole will be more quality than someone coming from 15, 20 miles away and they've seen the ad randomly on their newsfeed. Now, you also want to exclude areas you don't want people coming from. You don't have to do this, but let's say you're in an area where around the corner from you is more of an affluent area. There's more money there. People have more money, so they can afford your treatment. And then let's say around the corner, maybe on the other side, there's a less affluent area. People generally can't afford treatment from those areas. Now, what you want to do is you want to really decide, okay, let's be realistic. We'd rather people coming from these areas because they have more money. However, when you decide on your radius, you can't exclude, or that area comes underneath your local area. So what you want to do is you want to exclude those areas that you don't want people coming from. Okay, and that can also help. Now, it's not always necessary, but it can help. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this in real time. Okay, so in the background here is what's called the ad set. So when you create an advertisement, this will be one of the stages you have to do first. Now, this stage is where you target who you want and the area that you want to target. But this obviously needs to be done correctly. So as you scroll down on this section, you'll come underneath the audience section, and this is where you will do all of this stuff. So you can see here, the first sort of box here, it says people living in or recently in this location. So this is the first thing to do, and this comes under the first point where I said you want to only target people who live in the area. So you want to click on this and target people living in this location. You can only get people who are in the area. Okay, not people who was recently in, because they could live miles away and they're never going to be interested to actually come to the practice for real. Then you need to actually type in your location here, of course, right? So obviously type in your individual location. I'm just going to drop a pin randomly here. This isn't my location. This isn't the practice location, just a random location for the sake of this video. Once you've put your location in, you need to decide what's the radius, where do we want to target? So as I said, you want to target a local area if you are seeing a low quality of leads come through. In this area, I would decide, and it really comes down to sort of, just common sense, sort of understanding where you are, what the population is. But let's say in this area, if a 5 kilometer radius is a really local area, people will travel 5 kilometers quite easy to come to a practice. But in this area, because I'm so close to like Leicester, which is obviously a main city, you can see here there's 247 to 290,000 people who live just within this local area. So in actual fact, it's not really local at all. It's there's too many people. So what I would suggest in this kind of area, if you're on the outskirts of a major town or city where there's so much population, you can go a lot less. So you could even go 3 kilometers in this example, and this would be more of a local area, but don't go too low where there's hardly no one there. Obviously, if you're based in the country somewhere and there's no one around for 20 miles, then you can target a larger area. But just in general, target what is a local area to you. And then last but not least, you've got your age here, so where you can decide who and what age range you want to target. Again, you can just adjust this depending on what the treatment is that you're actually promoting. The last point I'll say is, let's say I've decided to target a 5 kilometer radius, but let's say South Wixton here is actually a low quality area. I don't really want people coming from that area. Well, what you can do is you can click on the little tab here where it says include, and you can click on exclude here, and then you can drop a pin on this area, for example. Now, automatically it will go to 16 kilometers because that's the default, the default sort of radius. But then you can just put this down to 1 kilometer, and you can then just get rid of this area, for example. So that's the thing with the exclusion zones. You can exclude different parts depending on where you don't want your ads showing. So that's the targeting point, and if you do this in general, you should be getting in front of generally a higher quality of person. Okay, so the next point is transparency on your adverts. Now this is important. Again, very self-explanatory, common sense. However, you want to make it super clear what treatment you're actually promoting and what the offer is. Okay, so starting on the first point, be clear on the treatment you're promoting, as I just said, who's it for and what's included. So you don't want to be running, let's say, cosmetic dentistry campaigns, which can include Invisalign, it can include bonding. You want to do individual campaigns that are only for one treatment at a time so people know exactly what they're inquiring for. That's number one. Number two is be clear on your offer. This means if you're offering just free consultations, make sure that's super clear that it's only a free consultation. There's nothing else included. It's not free treatment, it's free consultation. So you can mention it multiple times throughout your text. Number three is don't fluff things up just to sound better. So what a lot of practices do is, which sometimes can work in some areas, and I'm not saying completely disregard this, I'm just saying if you're seeing a low quality of person come through and maybe people are calling you confused about the offer, this would be probably because of this point. What a lot of practices do, let's say they're promoting Invisalign, they will claim that someone can save £700 off Invisalign, when really they just get extra whitening at the end, which is worth £300 or dollars, and maybe retainers or whatever, which is worth a certain amount, which adds up to £700, but it's not really £700 or dollars saving off Invisalign. Therefore, it's a little bit misleading. In some areas it works because people, all you have to do really is read the ad properly to understand that. But in some areas and some places, some people just don't read the ad. They just take it they just see 700 off and that's it. You need to make that clear that it's not £700 off Invisalign, it's £700 off whitening and whatever else it is that you're offering. It's just an example. So, for example, if you were doing something like whitening and retainers free with Invisalign. You want to say that it's, you know, £700 off your Invisalign package, and then you can go much more in detail as to what the savings are coming from. So just make it clear, don't fluff things up, because otherwise people will they'll just be calling asking about it, and as soon as you say what the price is, they'll say, oh, I thought it was this much off and whatever. So you need to make sure that that's clear. The last point here is don't be too offer orientated if you can. So what I'm basically saying is if you're really seeing a low quality person and people are just bargain hunting all the time, then you just want to go the opposite. Go get rid of all your offers, just go straight up consultation and focus on your credibility and your testimonials. Generally, an offer does work well. You won't need to do that as long as it's clear. But sometimes I have had it where I just get rid of all the offers and everything, and it just works because you get a lot less people coming through, but the people who do come through recognize that you are a quality practice, quality dentist. Now, the next point is landing pages and type forms. This is actually a really important point and part of the process if you want a higher quality of person. See, what a lot of dentists do is when they're advertising, they will send people to their website. They will get them to fill in a small form on Facebook and Instagram. That's not the best thing to do. Number one, if you send people to a website from your advertisements, you can't track your results because people will call the number, they will maybe copy and paste the email. You can't actually track directly the results, first of all, so you don't know actually how your campaign is performing. But also on top of that, a website is designed to give information on all services. It's not designed to get someone's information just for that specific offer that they've seen or treatment that they've seen from the campaign you've just ran. So you can get a lot of people bouncing off the website. It doesn't convert as well as a landing page. And also you can get people just inquiring about all sorts. So what you want to do instead is you want to create a landing page, okay? Now a landing page is a separate page to your website, but you can have them created where it will only be to do with the offer that you're running. So if you've got, let's say, £500 or dollars of Invisalign with free whitening and free bonding, whatever, right? Whatever it may be, you can create a landing page around that offer with no escape routes, with a form on the page. You can track all your results, the pricing, testimonials. So by the time someone's gone through the page, they already know the pricing. They know what the offer is. They know how the process works. They know what's included. What the pricing is. They filled in a form. They know what the next steps are. They know they're going to be contacted to be booked in, whatever it may be. But a landing page is super important. It's really, really good for qualifying people. Just to show you an example of a landing page. This here is actually a real live landing page of one of my clients. This is not their website. It has similar branding, but you can see here it's got the offer on the left hand side, get a free Invisalign consultation. It's got the points of what the offer actually is. On the right hand side, it's got questionnaire. We've even asked them questions about certain things to qualify people. As they scroll down, it's got what actually is included in the consultation, what the process is, how Invisalign works, before and afters, frequently asked questions, the team, the practice. So it's got all of this stuff there. This page in particular actually doesn't have the pricing section because, again, these aren't set in stone rules. Sometimes you don't have to go right in depth on your pricing because maybe that's not the issue for you. You might have another issue. Maybe people aren't answering the phone, it may be. So it depends. But on these landing pages, sometimes you can put the pricing on there if that is an issue that people are asking for. And as a result, you can get rid of that question before people have even inquired because they've already seen it on your landing page. So that's why a landing page is super important to have. Now, just to go through a few things. So a landing page and type form, which I'll go over in a moment, further clarify the offer, whatever it is you're promoting. You can also show before and afters / testimonials, which just get that person more excited about what it is they're actually inquiring for. That naturally gets rid of the low quality person who comes through who usually is asking for another treatment. You may have found that if you're promoting a certain treatment, you may find that people come through and not actually in the market for that treatment. It's something completely different. That naturally gets rid of that. Show pricing. Again, if you've got pricing questions, just show the pricing. Just let them know what it is. Ask qualification questions like I just showed you there on that form. You can ask any question you want to qualify that person however you feel fit. And the last point is show process of treatment and what's included. So you can actually say, firstly you come in for a consultation, then you put a deposit down, then you come back for a fitting, whatever it may be. Now, just to show you an example of a type form, this is a type form that I use, or it's actually an example type form, but type form is basically a software you can use where you can create your own questionnaire. And this usually works really well for something higher end like implants. So if you're promoting implants or anything really high end, and you need people to be more qualified, this can work really well. So the way that a type form works is, like I said, it's a really sort of smooth flowing questionnaire that you can create and you can ask any questions you want. And this is an example of literally an example of a type form, but it follows the same sort of process as a lot of my clients using type forms. Basically, you can see here, the first thing they hit is, just sort of an introduction to the form. Then they press yes or no once they understand that. And then obviously each and every question asks them, questions about their situations. For example, please let us know which condition best describes you, struggling with traditional dentures, whatever it may be, right? And obviously this is for implants. So by the time someone goes through, and you can pause the video on each question if you'd like, but you can add your own ones in. But by the time someone's gone through this questionnaire, they've put all their information in, they've read all the questions, it even asked them about finance. So I'll just get to that point here. So it says payment plans are available at X Dental. Obviously X Dental is not real, it's just an example, but you'll put your dental name there. Would you be more likely to go for a payment plan? So it's like, yes, I'd rather not, or whatever. Again, you can get a better understanding of what that person's situation is. Let's say they pick, yes, I'd rather pay up front, or rather a payment plan. How ready do you feel about your situation? Also, this here is an important part. So a lot of the time, if you're offering free consultations, I'd suggest to take deposits to make sure that people actually turn up. It can be refundable, so it's still technically free, but at least you take a deposit. And this stage of the funnel of the questionnaire confirms that in that person's mind. Okay, so for example, you could put our consultation fee is £20 or dollars, which will be deducted from your treatment costs. So however you're doing it, but you can just put that here so they can acknowledge that and understand that. And then obviously then it's just name, number and email by that point, and you can adjust those questions. You can add questions, get rid of questions if you want, but it's just a good way to qualify people, because again, it's very rare that a lot of time wasters are going to go through that whole questionnaire. Now, the last but not least is the feedback and adjustments part. So this is really important. So what you need to be doing is you need to be listening to what people are saying. If you're running ads right now and you need to note down what is the actual issue. Is it that people aren't answering the phone? If that's an issue, then you can add questions to your landing page, you can add qualification to ask people when's the best time to call them. Would they like to be called? What's the best way to contact them? Or if it's so hard to get hold of them, if let's say they're not putting their information in on that part, you can just direct them to an online booking form and then make them do it like that way. So you want to understand what the issue is. Maybe it's people are asking for price, that they don't understand the pricing. As soon as you tell them the price, they're not interested. Well, then you know that you need to be more transparent with your price and on your landing page. So take feedback and then put those adjustments in the campaign so it gets rid of those questions already. And once you do that over and over and over again over the space of a couple months, you've got all the feedback and you know what people are asking. You can just put that in the process before they've even become an inquiry. By that point, you have a streamlined ad that might not get huge amounts of volume, but it will get quality people coming through. And that's what you want. Anyway, I'll end the video here. I hope this has been helpful. If you've got any questions, just you can drop a comment below this video. You can message me on LinkedIn or Facebook. I'll be happy to look at your dentist individually and sort of go over what it is you're currently doing and your current strategy. But I hope this helps, and I'll see you soon.